when you're controlling yourself, and these other things like love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, and meekness, those are all symptoms of temperance. Once you control those lusts, then you'll start to have meekness. You'll start to have gentleness to other brothers, and you understand what long suffering is, and you'll know what goodness is, and you'll know what faith is, because you're controlling those lusts, put an overcast on those on these good things like gentleness and goodness, because you're always constantly wanting to get that instant gratification. All right. So again, it's all about that self control, that temperance, that governing that you put over yourself to say no. I'm not gonna do that. Learning how to say no, and also too, one of the things that can help you to learn how to say no is, going on a fast, go on a 1 or 2 day fast, and learn how to tell your body no. You have that urge to go get a cookie. You got that urge to go get another sandwich. When you go on a fast, you're training yourself to stay away from those things for a couple of days. And if you make a habit of going on fasts, when Esau comes to you, if it comes a time where you might have to be put in a concentration camp, that training is already there. Where you say, you know what, I don't need to eat that pork, or I don't need to eat that shrimp, or whatever Esau is going to try to force feed you, or if he tries to keep you from food at all, you've already trained your mind and your body to be able to tell yourself no. So now them depriving you of those things it seems like an easy thing. So Galatians 5:24, it says, "And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another." So again, the essence of these scriptures is disciplining yourself, and making sure that you're constantly monitoring what it is you're doing, constantly making sure that you're making the right decision. Now, I was speaking to Adama earlier about this topic, and I told him I always come to a crossroad where I say, okay, I'm going to make this decision now. If I make it this way, something bad is going to happen. If I make it this way, then this is the right thing is going to happen in the long run. Now, what happens is when you're constantly giving into your fleshly lust, because you receive that instant gratification, then doing it the right way seems like a task. It seems like a task because now you're not going to get that instant gratification. You're not gonna see the instant glory or that instant pleasure right away. So you want to go to the thing naturally, to the thing that gives you that instant gratification, and you don't want to do the work that it takes to to discipline yourself to get that good answer, but it'll because it takes longer. Okay. And I told him I always come to that crossroad, and when I choose the wrong thing, it's always all right, I'll make up for it on the back end. And then when I'm trying to make up for it, it's almost like a snowball effect, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I'm in a quagmire, or a bad situation, when all I had to do was restrain myself in the beginning, and then I wouldn't have had to make up for it in the back end at all. So for instance, if I got $40 left, and I want to spend 35 on food, and I say, oh, I'll just do some overtime next week, and then I'll do overtime. And now I'm tired, I don't want to read, and when I don't want to read, I'm not growing in the spirit. So it's a big snowball effect from just that one thing, not getting a hold of that one thing. It turned into something much bigger. When if I disciplined myself, then I would have cut that snowball in half before it even started rolling. All right. So the last scripture I want to go to that applies to discipline is Romans. Oh, no. Well, I can scroll down. Romans 8:13. It says, "For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live." So I want to look up that word mortify. All right. It says mortify. Bam. All right.
Strong's G 2289, Thanatao.
Thanatao, which means to put to death, metaphorically, to make to die, i.e., meaning example given, destroy, render extinct. By death, to be liberated from the bond of anything, literally to be made dead in relation to something. So when you're mortifying the deeds of your body, in other words, you're killing it. And how do you kill it? By saying no. Learning how to say no to yourself, man. You don't have to go talk to that woman who you know is married. You don't have to go whatever the case may be. That seems to be the most a prevalent example of a man giving into the lust that he has over a woman, knowing that she's married. You know, you don't have to do it. You not only learning how to say no to that woman, but saying no to yourself. If you can say no to yourself, then you can say no to anything. You know, learning how to say no. I'm not gonna do that thing. All right. So these are the three scriptures, and there's plenty of scriptures that discipline applies to, but those are the three that stuck out most in my mind. Now, what I want to do, I want to go into the definition of the word discipline. I was supposed to do it first, but the Spirit is going to bring it out the way it comes out. Hopefully, brothers, still get edified by the lesson. All right, so this is the word discipline in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It says punishment, obsolete, instruction, a field of study, training that corrects, molds, or perfects the mental faculties or moral character. Control gained by enforcing obedience or order, orderly or prescribed conduct or pattern of behavior, self-control. Now, the reason why I chose this definition, this particular one, because of this word here, training, and it says training that corrects, molds, and perfects the mental faculties or moral character. Because when you constantly train yourself into saying no, it's like it's almost the same thing as when you constantly doing push-ups. When you're constantly doing push-ups, you're training. What happens is your chest builds up. Your deltoids, your triceps, you build your muscles. And the same thing with discipline in the spirit. When you're training, you build up them mental pecs, man. Them spiritual pecs, them spiritual deltoids. You're building it up when you're constantly training. So discipline takes practice. And and I'm guilty of this too, where I thought that by being in the truth, that the Lord was just going to change me, and that there wouldn't be any work to it. They're all the Lord, the Lord will work on me. He'll fix me. He'll make sure I'm right. And I didn't take the time to realize that it takes work. It takes work to constantly train yourself. I mean, we see the elders, and we look at these. We're looking at the finished product of years and years and years of training to discipline themselves to behave in a certain fashion. So we see that, and we kind of try to emulate it, not realizing and taking into consideration that that was years and years of training that got them to that level. It took them a while to get to where they are today. And I'm guilty of this too. So I'm putting this on myself, but we have to stop trying to be what the elders are, and allow the Spirit to let us grow, as the scriptures say, glory to glory. And you have to go through the proper training yourself. You got to go through the training yourself to get to that level. You know, don't think of the end goal. In other words, I read this book, and it said basically, it gave the example of a basketball player, and when you're a kid, you just always worry about getting that ball in the hole. That's all you worry about is swishing that ball right in the hole, as opposed to practicing the form of the shot. So don't worry about the end goal, which is the ball going in the goal, but worry about your form. Is your elbow right? Are you popping your wrist at the end of your shot? Are you releasing?